Surmani, are you back? All right. So let's continue with third sprint. Please pay attention. So we started Angular with first sprint, which is building an interactive web page using TypeScript. So followed with break the web application into components. So whenever there is a web application, can you able to segregate into various components? Can anyone tell me the definition of SPA?
Single page
Single page application. What is single page application? But ever, don't give acronym alone. Most of the interviewer will hate giving the acronym as a reply for the question.
It will not reload the whole page. It will only reload the content we click on.
Single page application is a web app. Is a web application.
Dynamically
as name implicits, so that loads. How many pages? How many HTML page will be there?
Only
one.
Only one page.
One page.
Only one web document.
One page.
So whereas, so that will be that single page, one single web page will be more responsive. I want more points under SPA.
Ma'am,
User dynamically.
User dynamic.
Less network to traffic.
ma'am, once the
More
page is
responsive
loaded,
indicates it's dynamic.
We
Of
can
course, it is
rewrite the
dynamic.
content.
once the page loads, and after that, if there is some changes to be made on the page, it says JSON. It sends JSON file to the server. Not
It's divided in components, so no need to reload anything.
Instead of reload all
Fetching-
the times
Fetching
from
data
web
on
browser.
the background. Fetching data on the background.
Loading entire page all the time from web server. Only the respective components loads. Proceed to the next point.
It is quick.
They are faster.
Most easier and faster.
Of course, It is fast because we are not reloading the whole page from the server. So we have all the performance gain in your SPA. I don't want to comment as of now on routing, navigating. So we will discuss all those in detail in SPA in forthcoming slides. So how we can able to develop single page application? I have shared in the morning. I'm very specific to read those theory content. So which technology can be used to develop SPA?
We can use JavaScript
Angular.
frameworks.
React.
Angular, React.
We are going to use Angular powered by TypeScript. Yes, React.
Polymer. Yes.
Polymer.
Again, we are into Angular. We are going to develop SPA by using Angular framework. So as we all know, Angular developed with the help of a powerful language called as TypeScript. It's a superset of your JavaScript language. I'm very specific on this theory because why we want to bypass the concept. So we have various component based design approach, and single page application consists of just one page that works inside the browser and does not require page reloading during. Whatever the theory I have placed, same practical we will experience in few days. Single page application present the content in easy, elegant, effective way because everything is loaded in a single page. Rather than user no need to navigate from different pages. It's fast because they execute the logic in browser rather than just on the server. Once the initial page loaded, it only loads the data is sent back. So instead of entire HTML, by the way, we are reducing the bandwidth. So when I want to pass the data, only the data will be passed. When I'm modifying the data alone will be passed. Again, I'm telling whatever the points. So all the 4 points you will be experiencing in 2-3 days, hardly tomorrow morning. I'll give you an example on this all the 4 points. So whenever if you have a web application, so web application, web pages constructed by so various components, we should know what are all the components responsible for each block of my web page. So break the web application into various component hierarchy. So we have small elements. Each element is identified with each identity altogether comprises of component, composition together, layouts altogether forms into your web page. So these are the powerful frameworks. We are into Angular. And others is also so popular. Sorry. So apart from that, as I said, you know what a single page application will cover, why we are going for single page. So ensure that today, so please settle down with why, what, the single page application and how we are going to achieve that with Angular. Single page is a web application implementation that loads only single web document and then update the body content of that single document via JavaScript API on various APIs. So I hope you are familiar with this XML HTTP request. And many more are there. So all these points we will experience once we started with Angular. In single page, page refresh never occurs at all. Instead, all the necessary HTML, JavaScript, CSS is retrieved in the browser and the page loads for only one time. And every time the appropriate resources gets dynamically loaded and added to the page necessarily. So this is what called as a response to user action. Can you relate with the topic? So that's what I'm very specific on, single page application. So let's get into developing a single page application in Angular. Let's get started with Angular. So the third sprint is about structure an Angular application. Sir said in the morning, you will, it's actually easy till the time you get into that Angular framework. So meanwhile, the breathing time between the learning part and entering into the world of Angular, you will feel a complexity, little bit complexity. So please follow my instruction. I told you in the morning. So read the theory and ensure that you settle down with SPA. So once if you settle down, then we'll start with Angular. As of now, I'm going to start with Angular. So before that, you should know why. All right, shall we get into the topic structure and Angular application? And lot of files, lot of components will be covered. Please pay attention. So without third sprint, you can't even imagine fourth sprint. Without knowing fourth, you cannot proceed fifth. So without having idea in fifth, you can't proceed with seventh and eighth. So please pay attention. So I'll give you enough time for self-reading, understanding, and everything. I'll not rush behind topics and sprint. So there is a just a minute question. Can you name the files that are required to create a web application?
Some HTML,
HTML file.
CSS,
HTML,
JS.
CSS, TypeScript, JS.
So whatever we came across on all these days, you tell me that file name alone.
HTML.
So web application.
CSS.
So index dot any HTML files includes all HTML.
CSS.
So we have our style.css,
JS file.
script1.js file,
And TypeScript.
JSON man.
script2.ts file.
And JSON file.
Okay, JSON. Please read the question. Only files that are required to create a web application. Of course, I will not take db1.json. All soon we will come across some kind of configuration file, config.json file alone I'm taking. If required for storage purpose alone, we were using these types of JSON file. This configuration part, we will be introduced, all of you will be introduced today. But as of now, the files which we require to create a web applications are these. Apart from that, can you recollect anything I missed, even though it is fundamentals? Resources file, which includes your images, audio files, video files, etc. As of now, we came across on HTML file, JS file, CSS file, various resources file, also some very few configuration files. So these files are enough to application. Of course, the application which I created till last week, or even you recollect HTML, CSS print, all those prints. Portfolios, nameplate challenge, machinery layout, many more. Do you think these files are enough to create Angular framework application, Angular based application? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Same here. I don't know whether my network is stable. See, you simply answer my question. Whatever we did on HTML and CSS prints is enough. Here we are going to get into Angular application. So by using Angular framework, if I want to develop an application, these files are enough?
No,
No, big no.
not TS.
TS
Many
file.
more are there. So if you want to develop an application under Angular framework, so we need many more supported files. So let's discuss. On different files of Angular. Of course, what your answer is right. One of the file we will use is TypeScript file. And there should be conversion takes place, which converts into JavaScript file. That story is also there. But of course, one file we were aware is TypeScript file. All right, many more files are there. Today you will experience. The first session, the structure of Angular includes your creation of Angular. So when I'm creating an Angular based web application, there should be some landing page, index page, the first page. So in Angular project also, the landing page will be index.html page. Do we need any other HTML page?
Ma'am.
Yes or no?
No, ma'am.
No, you're on correct track, guys. My question was, in Angular project, there is an index page, the landing page, which is index.html. Do I need any other HTML file? Content page,
No, ma'am.
header, footer? No, because it is SPA. One single page only, and it is going to launch all the time in my server. So point number one, index.html. So Angular projects are made of TypeScript files. Can you guess what is an entry point for a TypeScript file?
JavaScript.
JS file.
Don't get deviated. We already get into Angular frameworks. So maybe many are new to you. Just make a note of it. Nothing wrong if you are into Angular for the first time. I'm sure after 1 hour, you will see all those files. First file is index.html, which is going to launch. And it's a TypeScript file. It's everything is TypeScript. The entry point for a TypeScript file is main.ts. Please make a note. Nothing wrong. Carry any paper or a note. A browser can interrupt only JavaScript code. Which file is responsible for converting all the TypeScript to Java and packing all the files? So of course, we will convert all the TypeScript to JavaScript. There should be a file which is responsible for conversion and packing all the files. I'm sure you got an idea about Webpack. There should be an additional file called as webpack.config.js. Are you with me, guys? Shall we continue?
Yes,
Files.
ma'am.
You will be experienced every day from today to next 10 days. You will be into deep on all those topics. You will dive into all the files everywhere. So point number 1, index.html, main.ts, webpack.config.js. While TypeScript files are built to JavaScript files, can you guess which configuration file we should use for setting compiler option? So in order to set some basic configuration requirement, which includes your compilation option also, we have tsconfig.json file. This holds configuration information. Actually speaking, Friday I have not completed the decorator topic. So because this file is missing, you remember I said this term. Since in our project we don't have an explicit tsconfig.json file, I don't have options to set my all right, no issues. I'll show you. Show you. After some time, I'll show you. So since last week, we don't have a separate JSON, tsconfig.json. I struggled in setting that decorators, experimental decorators property. So today we don't have a problem. You go to the file, you modify it to true or false, and you can proceed with the decorators. So Angular project is dependent on many libraries. How can we add those libraries to the project? Should we add this separately or we can add using configuration file? See, in Java, we used form.xml to add libraries. So likewise in Angular, if I want to add libraries, if I want to add any of the new libraries to my existing web project, those libraries will be added on to a file called as package.json file. So why these are all JSON format? Because the data, the property will be stored in the form of I said some time back experimental decorators. I want to set the property of experimental decorators true or false. So experimental decorator is key. True and false will be
Key value.
key value pair. That is why these files are in the form of JSON, which holds property in the form of key value pair. And many more files are there. This is just an intro. So point number 1, only one HTML file, which is index.html. And this index.html will communicate with main.ts. And this main.ts will be converted to the respective JS. Apart from that, many more TypeScript will be converted and packed under webpack config. So all the compiler setting options will be set in tsconfig. The external libraries will be added in package.json. So let's get into more. We already started. Let's get into more on structure of Angular application. So please, if you noticed, we are going to do two things. We are going to develop an Angular project from scratch without this interface. And we are going to create using CLI. So this session, we will not develop any task, nothing. This chapter, this sprint is completely about, you're going to create one simple Hello World Angular project. One is without CLI, the other one is with CLI. And we will explore on files and folders inside Angular project. Please pay attention. Angular is a component-based framework for building scalable web application. Everything in Angular I'm going to achieve via component. It's a development platform built on TypeScript. It's completely based on the language TypeScript, only for efficient and sophisticated SPA. It's a collection of well-integrated libraries that covers variety of features. We will be getting into topic by topic. So one is we have a proper integrated libraries, and we have features like routing, form management, anyway input handling, DOM, form management, validation, routing from one component to another component, client server communication, and much more. It includes a suite for developer to develop. I can build, I can test, and I can update my code. Everything I can do under Angular. There are two ways to create a single page application using Angular. So one is from scratch, folder to building an Angular application. The other one is the shortcut. So we can use CLI. All of you got this topic. So we can every day. So we will be developing an Angular project. You can go by from scratch, and other way is CLI. Only for today, I don't want to miss this creating SPA using Angular. So because of that, I'm covering this first topic, but from tomorrow onwards, you can directly go with CLI. So nothing wrong. Later version of Angular, we are using Angular command line interface, CLI. So by using that command, one single command, I can able to create a well-defined and organized files and folder structure with my Angular project. So again, I'm repeating, from tomorrow onwards, you can directly go for CLI. But today alone, in order to get experience this, we will go with this creating an application from scratch. Is that fine?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll cover few more theory, and then all of us together will try the demo. So building an SPA using Angular from scratch. So we need to create everything by using npm command, node package manager command, and then depend upon the requirement, you need to create files and folders, and finally run your Angular project. So these are the mandatory files required to develop Angular project. So webpack.config.js, any JavaScript application loaded in the browser should contain a single source file. So bundling all the modules into single file is the main purpose of Webpack. You remember bundling? Anyway, I am into single source file. So in such situation, I need to bundle everything. In order to have this bundling, we are using this webpack.config.js file. It supports a lot of plugins. So even if you want to do the appropriate parsing on different files, your Webpack will do. So it can perform many additional tasks. Webpack module loads, can parse different files, including style sheet. So we can use import statement to import style sheet files. Angular built-in process use Webpack to transpile TypeScript to JavaScript, transform the file SASS style sheet file to the respective CSS file and performs many tasks. So always this Webpack is by default hidden in your Angular command line tool. We will create an application. So before that, I thought why we are going for two different ways we will cover. And we will again come back to all files. That's all. My topic for today is only to create and to explore on files, structure of Angular. So how long does it takes to change the tire of car normally?
Half hour, 10 to 15 minutes.
15 minutes to 30 minutes, depend upon your experienced in. Shall I take 15 minutes roughly or 30 minutes roughly?
Yes, ma'am.
So how do the crew members get the work done with such high velocity? What kind of tool is used to change the tire in short time?
Their coordination and equipment.
No, what is the difference between the way we are taking to change the tire normally and these?
They use automated
And equipment and experience.
hydraulic machine for
Apart from that, the components, the devices which they used to
Two,
remove
three.
all, to fit, matters.
Different person, different work.
One is, yeah. So they are highly experienced. And one more thing is, as I said, the tools. So more sophisticated tools, which will help them in doing that in high velocity, high speed. The tool which they use to change the tire in short time, that matters. So mechanics at pit shop users unscrew the tires at fast pace. So what these two example indicates, the command, for them it is tool. For us it is the environment, the command which we are using to create an Angular application. So that varies. One is from scratch, the other one is from the CLI. So they use a super gun 3 wheel gun, so which helps in them to unscrew the tire at the fast pace. So similarly, just relate. I don't know much on automobiles term, or else I could have relate law. So the thing is, have you related? So the thing which you are using the basic tool and removing the tire is example for building an SPA using from scratch. Can you relate with that example?
Yes,
So having the basic tool and removing the tire, taking 15 minutes to half an hour. So whereas having this advanced tool, whatever they have mentioned, no, those sophisticated tools to remove. So that is using CLI command. So one more example for this Angular CLI tool to create a project in an easier and quicker way. So let's look at some more examples. A traveler can prepare his own travel itinerary or choose an opinionated one. So I have to go to, if you noticed, initially we need to place from to date followed with what kind of thing. So categories. Instead of doing this manually, if you look into the latest travel booking site, so they will be finding all the options, including transportation, hotel category, the famous places, how we need to book. All options are available in one portal, which helps our work more easier. Guys, can you relate? Instead of booking hotel in one portal, checking them and availability of transportation in one application, instead of having everything in one application, matters. All right. So Angular CLI comes with more opinionated package to start that developers makes our job easy. That's what I told. From tomorrow onwards, please use Angular CLI command. All right. So let's get into the topic first. So I'm not gonna to do first and then you can try later. No, we will all do simultaneously. So I want all of you to create an Angular application from scratch. So I'm sure this, if I discuss as a whole in session, it takes some 30 minutes. So after 30 minutes, after successfully creating an Angular project from scratch, then we will go to CLI, then again come back to exploring the structure and files. Shall we?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. In order to, as I said, let's do it together. I'm going to share this file. This file consists of everything. Even you don't need to hear my instruction at all if you follow this. If you have any confusion, then pass it. You clarify with me and then you can. But anyway, we are going to do together. One can share your screen and you can follow the step or you can follow my instruction. Anyway, I'm going to instruct based on the notepad steps which I have in front of me. So this is way one. So how to create Angular application from scratch. So I want all of you to create so I'm sure for TypeScript or Angular, you have created a folder. So please create 2 subfolders in that. So I'm giving the name as my demo 1. Let's assume my demo 1 is from scratch and my demo 2 is using CLI command. So let us create 2 projects. So I'm creating 2 folders. The one is for from scratch, the other one is from CLI. And I'm going to share the entire file. You're going to do it in your Visual Studio Code. So I want all of you to create a folder. So my demo 1 is your first project. So you need to open this my demo 1 in your Visual Studio Code. And the same my demo 1 to be open in your command prompt, terminal prompt. Open folder. My demo 1. So create one folder with meaningful name, my application 1. So and please open that folder in your Visual Studio. And if your terminal is working properly, then no problem. You can use your terminal. So if you are facing problem with your terminal, so please open your command prompt. This is what step 1 and 2. So we have to follow the step and we want to change the appropriate file specified here. So till this is the last command to run, and this is second way. Second way is much easier. So let's complete the first way. I'm sharing the entire file. Can anyone share your screen? I want you to share your screen, open Visual Studio, open a folder and download the file which I have shared on Slack, and please open the same. Yeah, you download it. Have you created folder?
Yes, ma'am.
Angular demo 1. Okay. Open a command prompt in the same. It can be here or it can be there. So either you open a command prompt terminal over here. It should point to the application. So as per Niranjan, it is CNIT folder. His first application is Angular demo 1. So this is what I mentioned in step 1 and step 2. So once it is done, please confirm. I'll wait for another 2 minutes. Step 1, create a folder. Open that in your Visual Studio Code and same in your terminal. If your terminal, integrated terminal is throwing some exception error, please use black screen. Please confirm. Shall we proceed next?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Niranjan, can you open a notepad?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the third step?
NPM init
No. Create.
Okay.
So wait. No, wait. So please read third step. We want to create package.json by using following command. Don't create file manually.
Yes,
You create by this command.
Yes.
And the command is npm init --y. Please. npm init --y. Enter. Can you see the changes?
Yes, ma'am.
Guys, are you with me? Shall I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
If you got stuck, please pass me. I'm ready to wait for.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Bro, because once if you miss the flow, then it's difficult to follow. All right, step 4. Create tsconfig file using the following command. Just type the command tsc-init. So guys, fourth step is you need to create TS config. But after creating TS config, you need to add, you need to make some changes. So I will wait for another 2 minutes till this step done. Niranjan, shared screen if you have any doubt. As of now,
Ma'am,
we opened a folder and we created 2 files, both the files through npm command. Someone called me.
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can you repeat what you said in step 4?
What is step 4? You read that notepad.
Okay. Okay.
You just go to black screen or terminal, you type tsc double hyphen init. If any of you npm is throwing an error, what command you will try?
NPX.
Very
NPS.
good.
TSC.
If npm is not recognizing, you try executable command npx in the place of npm. So don't create a file. You type command. It will automatically generate this file. Let's wait for 2 minutes.
Ma'am, I am having an error.
Share your screen.
So it's showing me that I have to download this TSC at the rate 2.0.4.
Space, give space, I think TSC. Space hyphen init.
So
Okay. Okay.
I have
You
to-
give S.
okay, to proceed
Or
by
I think you can use the previous command. If you don't have TypeScript. Okay, you give S. If any of you facing problem with this installation, you use the previous command.
Ma'am, I am getting
Ma'am, but-
same.
I am also facing the same.
All right.
I am also getting
Before
this.
step 4, you open that notepad. Can you see line number 17? You copy that. 17. By the way, you go to Visual Studio. You see Shubham Alarm, desktop, TypeScript, Angular, my demo 1. Why you created index.html?
I mean, there are 4 PowerShells running.
Huh?
index dot
4 PowerShells are running.
4?
PowerShells are running.
That's fine.
That's not issue.
By the way, why you created index.html? And from scratch, I don't think in what basis you created 2 folder. Okay, you give that command. You right click and paste it. Give enter. So what I thought is you people are having TypeScript already in your machine. Now give TSC double hyphen init. Those who don't have TypeScript in your machine, before step 3, you give np x tsc double hyphen init. That's all. By the way, delete index.html. I'll come to HTML part. Okay.
Should I stop
Subhamalam,
seeing?
no need to stop your screen. I'll continue with your screen.
Okay.
So do I want to wait? Everyone done with this
Yes, ma'am.
step?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Didn't hear no. Even though it's no, also no problem. You tell me, I'll wait. So if you noticed step 4, we have some changes to do in your config file. So TSC double init, if it is throwing an error, please add npx. Look into Shubham's screen.